Some of you saying, I just don't know what to do. I don't know where to start. That's a lie. The Bible says he has shown you, oh man, what is good and what God requires of you: to do justice, love mercy, and walk humbly hand in hand with your God. Don't say you don't know what to do. You do know what to do. Love mercy. Do justly. Just do something that you know to be right, and walk humbly with your God. The power of one verse, the power of one friend is the untapped resource available to each and every one of us. Ecclesiastes 4, if one falls down, his friend can help him up. Pity the man who falls and has no one to help him up. Gentlemen, do you have enough guys to carry your coffin?
Because the doorkeeper knows he needs God and he clings to his presence. And the person who dwells in the tent of the wicked, they know they're in the dark. But you're somewhere in the middle. You think you're okay. You don't need more of God. You're just fine. You've got just enough. You think you're pretty good. And you're in the worst shape of all. You're like the prodigal son's older brother. You're full of pride. You're full of arrogance, and the way you justify your meager spirituality is by passing judgment on other people. I mean, as long as you can run down so-and-so who's really blown it, you feel pretty good about yourself. Am I preaching to the right group of men tonight? You don't want to get too close over here because you're not ready to really surrender. And you want to get close enough over here that, well, you think you'll be okay, and just, you know what I'm talking about, men, close enough. You're like the people Jesus spoke of in Revelation. You're not hot, you're not cold, you're just lukewarm. And you know where that leads. You have no fear of God. You've made yourself so big that your God has become small. But let me tell you two quick stories that are going to stick with you. You'll remember these. You'll never forget these. You'll never, ever forget these stories. And at some moment in the future, these two little short stories, if that's what they are, illustrations, are going to come to your remembrance, and when they do, you're going to know that that's God.
There's something that we as men have to learn how to do. And the biggest thing that we have to learn how to do, men, is fight. And see, God's given us aggression. You know, I do a lot of counseling, and I haven't met a man yet that doesn't have an anger problem. Now, some of us are passive aggressives. So we really stuff it and we store it and we don't really let it out real quickly. But most of us blow off steam one way or another. And it's usually in a bad way. So God has wired men to be aggressive because we're supposed to be doing something positive with it. But we haven't learned that lesson yet. So what we do is we lash out on our wives, our kids, our boss, our neighbors. We lash out on our dogs, our cat. We'll lash out on anything.
I do not live to play it safe. I do not live to make people like me. I do not live to avoid risk. I live to advance the kingdom of the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. I do not pastor a group of pathetic men who sit and come as weekend whippy warriors and listen to me preach. I rally men around the throne of Jesus Christ, who is the ultimate conqueror, who defeated Satan, who defeated sin, and who wants us to bring his global conquest to fruition so that he can come and every knee would bow at his throne and declare that he is Lord.